Hello guys, good evening, and this is Dr. Pooja with another exciting session on your 10th class biology, and the topic that I have picked today is control and coordination. Okay, I know I have covered control and coordination in case of plants, but today's session is all about control and coordination in case of human beings. All right, so let's get, I'm so sorry, let's get started here. Here you go. Okay, so give me just a minute. Let me pick the color. All right. So today's, as I said, today's topic is all about control and coordination in case of human beings that we will discuss. And I know some of you told me like this chapter is no longer there in your syllabus, but I would like to cover it, reason being in your higher classes, this will make the foundation for the same, okay? And I guess in final examination, it will be there. So let's cover it, okay? So again, it's control and coordination, and as I have said, there is control and coordination in, plants that we discuss, and in case of animals. I have already covered control and coordination in plants in my previous video. If you are interested, you can go back and watch that video. But in today's session, I will be covering control and coordination in animals, that too particularly in human beings. All right, so that will be my today's discussion. So before we get into the details of this chapter, I would like to tell you guys more about myself and Unacademy, how you can enroll yourself for Unacademy. So my name is Dr. Pooja, guys, and I was a scientist in United States of America for 8 years. I've done PhD in biotechnology, and I was a scientist and lab director there, and then I came back to India a couple of years ago, and now here I'm taking care of science on Unacademy's platform. I'm a full-time plus educator on Unacademy, and apart from that, I'm also online fitness coach. Okay, so the beauty of this is, like, on Unacademy's platform, we take not only the classes related to your textbooks, not just related to your let's say academics. I take care of different classes to take care of your physical health, your mental health, okay, and apart from that, stress related to your examination, all these different topics that we cover. So if you want to be part of Team Unacademy, go ahead and sign up on unacademy.com. And guys, this will be the best investment of your life, because you are not just making a great foundation with great educators, you are also learning more about health and fitness on this platform. Okay, so how to, because I get many questions from you guys, like how to get enrolled for the classes, and what is this Unacademy's platform, who all are there, what all you will get. So guys, first of all, you don't have to go anywhere to take the classes. Just at the comfort of your home, you just need an internet, a device, and yourself, of course, and to learn from us live. On Unacademy, we have educators from all over India, and at one platform, we are going to teach you guys science, we are going to teach you guys mathematics, English, social studies, your languages. Okay, so all these different things you will be studying on Unacademy's platform, and you have unlimited access to all the courses that we have to offer you guys. Apart from that, there are going to be regular doubt clearing sessions, live test series, and answer writing sessions. So we have also started subjective question answer sessions, so that we understand your problems, because MCQs is easy. Initially we used to do MCQs, but now we have variety of preparatory classes that we give you guys, okay? And then you will have access to the study material, the PDF that we generate exclusively for you guys. And mentorship and guidance, as I've already said, is always there to guide you guys, like what after 10th class, what after science, how you can become scientist, how you can shape your future well with us, okay? So that is also there. And guys, the best part is coverage of syllabus. So I want to tell you guys quickly here, like I have launched, or I will tell you about this in a minute, okay? Let me first cover other important points. It is not just in English, because many students they want to learn all these subjects in other languages. We have it in Hindi, and for some of the students, like from different parts of India, and they are not very comfortable with language Hindi, so we have English educators like me and many other educators. They will teach you in English. All right, so here are our ongoing batches, here are our upcoming batches, and you can sign up. And guys, if you want to take 10% discount, here is my code that you can use today to get extra 10% discount on your subscription, okay? And here are the different options. We have variety of options available for you guys, so you can subscribe for let's say 1 month or 6 months, 12 months, 24, 36, 48. So these are the different options available for you. And guys, it is not even coming 1000 rupees per month, and that is for the whole batch. That is for this 833. On top of this, you will get 10% discount if you use my code. And this is not only for one subject. Yes, this is not the cost of one subject. This is for your physics, chemistry, biology, which is like science taken by me. We have mathematics teachers, we have English, we have SST, we have Hindi. All these different options you are going to get in this amount, okay? And that is the best deal that you can get. And guys, it is not only about the academics, it is out of the academics that we are going to teach you. All right, and if I go to the next slide, so you can get like how to get the K-12 subscription. So these are the steps. So you download the app, you log into the app, you select plus from K-12, you click on the get subscription, select the type of subscription you want, and then you also apply the code, and then you click and proceed to purchase, okay? Don't forget to use my code over here, okay? So guys, with that, this was all about how to get yourself on board with us. And guys, quickly I wanted to tell you, starting October 5th till December 19th, if you want a revision of all the chapters of your science book, so I have launched a revision course, okay, for you only. And again, you go to Unacademy, look for Dr. Pooja Sharma, find this course, sign up for this, use this code, and we will finish your whole science book in 3 months, not even 3 months, less than that, okay? So that is the update that I wanted to share with you. You can go ahead and always use my code, and then we can learn new things together, okay? So then today's topic is control and coordination, right? What is control and coordination? So guys, you need to understand this thing. I will take an example. For example, you see a line, okay? Line is a very big thing that I'm discussing. Let's say you saw a dog or something. So what will you do? You have couple of options, right? Either you triple F's are there, you fight, you flight, or you freeze, right? You fight, you tend to fight with this line, okay? I hope you don't do that. You flight, you try to run from the situation. Third, you freeze, you keep on standing there and you let the lion do whatever he wants to do, okay? So who is deciding whether you need to fight, whether you need to flight, or whether you need to freeze? Okay, you saw the line. See, what I'm saying is you saw the line, and this is what options, these are the options that you have. So seeing something is by your sensory organs. All right, so here in this case your sensory organ is eye. You saw it. It could be your nose, it could be your tongue, could be your skin, it could be your ear. In terms of, this is in terms of any other response other than seeing a lion. Okay, so because here I'm trying to explain you guys control and coordination. Okay, so these sensory organs, they detected the signal. In this case the signal was lion and the sensory organ was eye. Okay, and then you did either of these, fight, flight, or freeze, right? So this was sensory organ, you gathered the signal, and this is how you responded, right? Here is your signal and here is like how you responded. This is what we call coordination, right? You saw something and how you reacted is your coordination, right? Now you need to understand how this happens, how all these things are happening, right? There must be a system, as we are talking about human body, there must be a system in human body which is controlling and coordinating all these parts of this system together, right? Responding and receiving. All right, so I have not mentioned there is something called processing in between as well. Okay, so as we proceed we will talk about it. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Here you go. So the control and coordination system that I have just mentioned, that system in human beings is called nervous system. Okay, what do we call it? Nervous system. So let's quickly discuss what this nervous system is, what are its different parts, how it controls or how it coordinates with other parts of your body. Okay, so, and guys, before I get into this, let me explain something real quick to you. So when we are talking about control and coordination, so we have sense organs, right? They picked the signal, they sensed the signal, they are the receivers. Right? They sent the signal to your brain, right? Or what we call nervous system. And there was some kind of processing that took place inside your brain. Okay guys, I guess there was some issues with the internet and I got it fixed just now for you. I'm really sorry about that. So I guess now we are live again. Okay, so here is what I was discussing before this internet connection issue was there. So, and it started from where we have left. Okay, so your this is what I explained. Like brain, we receive the signal through the sense organs into the brain. There is some kind of internal processing taking place inside the brain, and it sends signal. Again, we have flight, fight, or freeze options, which means either we will run, we will fight, or we'll keep standing there with all the hormone, all the stress hormones in our blood. So that means the brain is sending signal to your either muscle or glands, right? So muscle will help you in running or doing some activity, and glands will release the hormones in the blood. Okay, so this is what is happening in response to the activity or in response to that line that you saw. Okay, so this is what we call, so this signal first is going to the brain, point number one. Remember this because I will be covering this in upcoming slides. Point number two, signal gets processed. Point number three, signal is traveling, for example, muscle and glands in response to this signal that we received. Okay, so now let's discuss quickly this whole system. This whole system that we have here is in receiving and processing and acting is called nervous system, right? And this system over here, the muscle, we will discuss. There are skeletal muscle, there are cardiac muscle, and there are, involuntary or smooth muscle. Okay, so these muscle also are the part of, the system, and these are the ones which help in reacting against the signal that we have received. Okay, so here these are just quickly the different type of muscle that we have: skeletal muscle, your smooth muscle, and your cardiac muscle. So they respond in reaction to the signal that they get from the brain. So here, yes, nervous system, we were talking about what are the different parts of the nervous system: peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. So guys, central nervous system is also known as CNS, and it includes your brain, and it includes the spinal cord. Okay, so quickly, nervous system has two parts. One is central nervous system, that includes your brain and spinal cord, and you have peripheral nervous system, which is PNS, which is again of two types. One that is controlling autonomic, okay, and somatic. Autonomic means the movements which are not under your control. Somatic or voluntary movements which are under your control. Okay, under this autonomic, it has sympathetic, which is arousing you. For example, we discussed about the flight mode. We discussed about the fight mode. So this system takes care of that. Okay guys, there is some issue with the streaming part of it, and then here we go. We are up and running. All right, so here now I'm ready to discuss more about the neurons. Okay, what are this is still streaming, I guess it is. Yes, I'm so sorry. There was again some internet issues. I'm sorry about that. So guys, yes, we will now discuss about neurons. What are the different types of neurons? What is the types of neurons? What is the structure of neurons? How neurons they help in, you know, signal transmission. All right, so let's discuss these points one by one. Here is the very basic structure of neuron. I'll show you in this diagram and then I will draw it for you. Okay, so here is this portion that you see is called cell body. Okay, in this cell body you have all the organelles as per they are present in the cells, like you have nucleus here, you have cytoplasm, and in this cytoplasm you have all other cell organelles, right? And you see these little thread-like branches, these are called dendrites. Okay, so these dendrites are increasing the surface area of this whole cell so that it can receive signals from a wider area. Okay, so dendrites are there to receive the signal. Then you see this structure over here is called axon, and this long structure connects the cell body with the nerve endings. I mean, the nerve itself ends here, and here it makes connections to the dendrites of the next neuron, because signal has to travel from one part of the body to the next part of the body. Okay, so that happens through the dendrites and the nerve endings. And if you see these purple structures over axon, right, this is called myelin sheath, and this is to protect any loss of signal from the nerve cells. Okay, so this was the basic structure of neuron, and I believe in drawing this structure myself, but here are the more detailed, this was like the diagrammatical representation, and here how the actual neuron would look like. You see all these dendrites, then these are to receive messages from the other cells. Okay, and then you have cell body. As I showed you in the previous slide, it is the cell's life support center, which means it has all the essential organelles which we need for this cell to survive, correct? And then we have this axon over here. It passes messages away from the cell body to the other neurons or muscle or glands. That is what we have discussed, and I will explain that in greater details again. And here is how the nerve impulse, it starts and it travels down the axon, and it goes to these terminal branches of axon, which are called maybe nerve endings, that we have seen our previous slide. And this is the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath, it covers the axon of some neurons and help speed the neural impulse so that the signal, it does not get lost on its way. Okay, so this was quickly about the structure of the neuron. Okay, and now how this action is taking place. So before I get into the details of this, let me explain you how this whole thing is taking place, right? Let me draw it. Let's say here is your eye, right? you received a signal. I have drawn eye here, but it could be any sense organ, any of the 5 sense organs. Okay, they will receive a signal. The signal is received by, again, the neurons, and we call those neurons sensory neurons because they are receiving the signal. Okay, so it will be something like, I will draw a very basic picture. This is the cell body, axon, then you have nerve endings, then another one, right, and then another one. And what happens is, this is taking the signal, these sensory neurons are taking the signal from your sense organs to your, let's say here is your brain. Right? Because everything gets processed inside your brain. So those sensory neurons, we call these neurons as sensory neurons because they are taking signal. And please excuse my drawing, this is the cell body, this is the axon, and this is your nerve ending. This is cell body, this is axon, and these are nerve endings. Okay, so this is how the signal is traveling in this direction from the sense organ. Okay, so this signal traveled and it reached the brain. It got processed inside the brain. So here is your processing, it took place, and from there you got the signal back to, I'm sorry, okay, here maybe your muscle or your glands received it. Okay, so the signal now traveled after processing from brain to decide what to do. The signal is traveling. These neurons are called motor neurons. The ones who helped in generating the signal, they are called sensory neurons. The ones who are taking the signal to the action side are called motor neurons. And there is a third type of neurons over here which connects your this thing with this thing, your sensory neurons with motor neurons, and these neurons we call them interneurons. Okay guys, so these are your interneurons. So which means we have 3 type of neurons. And now let's discuss, I'll show you 2 things here. One, how the signal travels. 2, what are the different types of neurons that I will show you in a minute. Okay, let's go back. This is the brain that I will talk in a minute, all about brain. Here you go. So what happens, how the signal travels, as I showed, like from eye to brain, from brain to muscle, right? How this signal is traveling. So what happens is the axon is there. This is like part of the neuron, and here are the nerve endings, and these nerve endings are, let's say, on a muscle fiber. Let's say this is a motor neuron because it is acting on the muscle or on the gland. Okay, here it is releasing some kind of chemical or substance called neurotransmitter. These are the compounds which help in generation of the signal. We call them neurotransmitters. So this is how it happens. These little purple dots are the neurotransmitters, are released by the neuromuscular at the neuromuscular junction by the nerve endings of the motor neurons. Okay, so this was your motor neuron, this was the nerve ending, and this junction is called neuromuscular junction, where the neurotransmitters are released and they start the signal, like what is the next action. Okay, so this diagram shows you that, and this point where that signal takes place is called synapse. And this could be one of your MCQs, like what is synapse, and give me a second. Here is that synapse wala diagram. You have one neuron. Okay, there is one neuron. You see, this is the cell body of the neuron, this is the axon of the neuron, and here are the nerve endings. And now you see the nerve endings of one neuron are acting on the dendrites of the second neuron, or cell body, or the dendrites, you see these. So this is the synapse, the place where this action is taking place. So this is synaptic bulb, this is called synaptic cleft, these are called synaptic vesicles, and this is the dendrite of the next neuron. It has receptors on it, and neurotransmitter molecules are being released by this axon terminal of one neuron. So this is the axon terminal of one neuron, and it releases neurotransmitters, guys. So this is what is happening at the synapse or the synaptic cleft. Okay, so if these are not clear, I will label them. One is synaptic bulb, two is, just a second, synaptic cleft, three is synaptic vesicles, four is neurotransmitter molecules, five is your receptor site, and six is the dendrite of the next neuron. Right? So this is a typical synaptic site. All right. Now, as I have explained in my drawing, what are the different neuron types? Let's discuss these one by one. So here, as we have, these are our sensory neurons. Number one, they received signal from the sense organs, right? Through the dendrites, they received the signal. Here is the cell body, here is the axon, okay? And here is something which is present in the brain, right? These are our neuron number 2, which are called interneurons, okay? And then here we see there are neuron number 3 called motor neurons. Okay, neuron number 3, here was your neuron number 2 present in the brain. So the signal is generated from the sense organs, carried by the sensory neuron to the brain. In the brain, from the sensory neuron, signal got transferred to the motor neuron via interneurons, right? So this is how this whole thing takes place. If there is a question, what are the different type of neurons? You will start with sensory neuron, interneuron, and motor neuron, right? So these are the 3 type of neurons that we have. All right, and then we have already talked about this. Now let's talk a little bit about our brain, because brain is the smartest organ of our body. Okay, we have central nervous system. We have talked about central nervous system, and we have talked about it has 2 parts, brain and spinal cord, right? We will not get into the details of spinal cord, but yes, we will talk a little bit about the brain. Okay, so our brain has 3 parts: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Midbrain and hindbrain. So this is the front, this is the middle, and this is the last part of the back part of the brain. Okay, so if we talk about the forebrain first, okay, so this is the cerebrum. The cerebrum is that main part, the biggest portion of the brain is your cerebrum. It has different lobes. If it has frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, and temporal lobe. Okay, so all these different lobes of the brain, they control different functions of the brain. Okay, how? For example, this frontal lobe of the brain helps in problem solving, emotional traits, reasoning and judgment, speaking, voluntary motor activities. So these all activities are controlled by the frontal part of your brain, which is, I'm showing here in this diagram, this red colored part is the frontal part of your brain. Okay, this is called frontal lobe. Second is your parietal lobe. So parietal lobe is this yellow portion over here. So it helps in knowing you right from left, what kind of sensation you feel, reading, body orientation. So these are all the functions which are controlled by the parietal lobe of the brain. Third comes your occipital lobe, which is helps in the vision and color perception. All right, and then fourth lobe is your temporal lobe, which helps in understanding language, behavior, memory, and hearing. So these are the different functions controlled by the temporal lobe. Then apart from this, we have cerebellum. Okay, so these different functions of the brain, these different parts of the brain will make a good option for all different MCQs that you will get in your exams. Okay, so they will ask you which part of the brain helps in balance and coordination and control of voluntary movements. fine muscle control, then your answer should be cerebellum. So guys, don't get confused with cerebrum and cerebellum. Okay, this big colorful portion that I have shown you, this whole thing is your cerebrum. Cerebrum makes the biggest part of your brain, okay, and it has different portions like frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital and temporal lobe, and these lobes, they control different functions of your body. Then cerebellum is on the back side of your brain, and it controls your balance, your coordination and control, and as I said, fine muscle controls. Then you have a brain stem, and brain stem helps in breathing, body temperature, digestion, alertness and swallowing, right? So these are the different parts of your brain, or human brain, I would say. Okay, next is, so with this we have covered pretty much everything about control and coordination. Now next important topic that I want to take is a reflex action. That is again a very important topic, and we get not only multiple choice questions, we get subjective questions on this topic. What is reflex action? So what happens when you touches sometimes the hot body, okay, hot thing, hot stuff, your body retracts itself immediately, okay, immediate retraction or immediate response is there by your body, and that is what we call reflex action. So technically what happens is, as I said, we have sensory neurons. They reach to your brain, and in the brain there are interneurons, and they come back, and then we have motor neurons, right? But when we have this reflex action thing, what happens is it bypasses the brain, and it makes an arch in your spinal cord. So the signal immediately does not go to the brain, but through the spinal cord itself, it takes this shortcut, and so that body can react immediately. Okay, so this is what we call a reflex action. And next important is what are different not just this wait a second. Okay, so now we will talk about what are different neurotransmitters. And how they react. Okay, so in the control and coordination system, we have talked about neurons, we have talked about brain and spinal cord. Then we have important neurotransmitters. So guys, these neurotransmitters are the biochemical, I would say, substances which control various things, right? These neurotransmitters, first of all, they are released at the site of synapse, right? That is what I have just explained to all of you, right? They are released at the site of synapse. And what are the different neurotransmitters? So if we want to define neurotransmitter, we would say a substance that transmits nerve impulse across a synapse. Okay, so for example, there are various neurotransmitters that we have and which are released at the synaptic cleft. And why these neurotransmitters are important? Because they are the ones who control various things. They control our mood, our anger level, when we are frightened. Okay, you remember I told you about all those fright and flight options that we have, right? So then what are the different neurotransmitters? Here are the different types. Guys, why I'm telling you this, because this is going to be very important topic when you get to the next class. Okay, so different neurotransmitters are, we have dopamine, norepinephrine, then we have oxytocin, then we have serotonin, okay, histamine. So these are the neurotransmitters which are, I mean, our mood depends upon these neurotransmitters. When we feel happy, when we feel bad, when we feel good about something, we call them, some of them are, we call like dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. We call them catecholamines. Okay, so these are the different type of neurotransmitters that we have in our body. Okay, so with this I end this session on control and coordination. Quickly to sum up, in human beings, the control and coordination is the part of peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. In central nervous system, as we said, we have brain and we have spinal cord, and anything other than this comes under peripheral nervous system. This will have your motor neurons, this will have your interneurons, and this will also have your sensory neurons. And under the structure of neurons, we have studied neurons are the longest cells in the body. They have cell body, and then they have axons. Axons are covered by myelin sheath, and then they have cell body has dendrites. This is quick revision that I'm doing for you. And then this has nerve endings, right? So this is all about neurons. And then if we talk about, we have three type of neurons. One is motor neurons, that sensory neurons. They carry sense signals or receiving signal from the sense organs, and then they take it to the brain. Give me a second. And then within the brain, we have which are transmitting the signal to the motor neurons. Okay, so these are the different type of neurons that we have covered. Then we covered our brain, like it has different parts. front brain, midbrain, hindbrain, and cerebrum is the largest portion, and then cerebellum helps in control. Then we talked about neurotransmitters, and we talked about important terms are over here. Synapse, what is synapse? What are neurotransmitters? And the third important term that we discussed is your reflex action. Okay, so guys, with this I would end today's session on control and coordination. Again, my name is Dr. Pooja Sharma, and I'm an educator on Unacademy.com. I teach you guys physics, chemistry, and biology, and at Unacademy's platform we have plus courses. These courses are the best because here we cover your science, your English, your SST, mathematics, and languages. And not only this, we have on this platform, we give you multiple chances of doing test series, doubt clearing sessions, and I have launched a revision course which is starting from October 5th going till December 19th. Go ahead and sign up for this because in these 3 months we will finish your whole science. Okay, and guys, if you want to go ahead and sign up for my sessions, use this code PS13 to get extra discount of 10% on the purchase. Okay, so this was all about today's lecture on control and coordination, and also on what are the different options that you guys have at Unacademy to cover your syllabus and to take care of your academics. Okay, so with that said, I end it today. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye, and you guys take care and keep following me on Unacademy's platform. My name I have already mentioned here. My name is Dr. Pooja. Follow me on Unacademy, and then I'll teach you at my best. Okay, you guys have a wonderful time. Take care. Bye bye.